everyone, my name is Parth and today I'll be talking about Leonardo da Vinci. And why did I prefer Leonardo da Vinci? Well, Leonardo da Vinci was a Renaissance man and he inspired me to have notebooks here and there. So here's an example. So imagine you're going to make a painting, okay? And you don't have the materials, but you have the materials, but like you don't have ideas. So you could go outside for a walk and see what you see and then draw it. Like whatever you see, you draw. And Leonardo da Vinci's childhood was a really good one, but like we don't know much. He was born in April 15, 1452. He was born in a village in central Italy called Vinci. His name translates to from Vinci. His grandfather wrote his grandson's date of birth in a notebook, and that notebook is still in the Library of Italy. Leonardo da Vinci was always outdoors. Like his classroom was the nature. He wondered if we could fly like birds or swim like fish. Yeah, that kind of sounds impressive. And at the age of 15, he was an apprentice at Andrea del Verrocchio's workshop. It was a very busy workshop. The boys there learned to use bronze, silver, marble, and wood. With that, they make bells and even musical instruments. When Leonardo was commissioned to paint the baptism of Christ, he was supposed to make two angels on the left. Andrea quickly realized after Leonardo made the two angels that Leonardo is way better than Andrea. And after that, Andrea vowed never to paint again and only sculpt. Inventor. Leonardo da Vinci was also an inventor. In a letter to a duke, Leonardo said he could create bridges, build armored cars, drain water from ditches, and build cannons and protect warships and destroy forts. But those inventions were either too ahead of his time or a bit expensive. So all of the thoughts he wanted to produce were either in his head or on notebooks. He was the first man. He was one of the first man and woman to ever think of flying of an airplane. They didn't call it the airplane. They called it the ornithopter, and that invention was a bit of a failure. But Leonardo da Vinci didn't carry on. He said, "If I couldn't finish it today, somebody else may finish it for me." And yeah, a famous painter. Leonardo da Vinci was a great painter. He has finished about 20 paintings, and most of them were unfinished because he had mental illness and he had ADHD. And the Mona Lisa is an amazing painting, but it has some mysteries, like where is her eyebrows? Or what about her smile? It is fascinating to see. And we also have the Salvator Mundi. It's one of the expensive paintings in the world. The Salvator is another incredible painting by Leonardo da Vinci. It translates the Savior of the world. It illustrates Christ raising his arm like this and holding an orb on the other. So it looks someone like this. And we have the Last Supper, another amazing, incredible painting. He was commissioned, but since he was using a different kind of painting, it was drying off over the years, and they had to reform it. So that is a bit impressive. And then Leonardo is mostly famous for his paintings because most people know him from his paintings, not for his inventions or scientific discoveries. Scientist. Leonardo da Vinci also studied science, made experiments, examined fossils. He was a student of anatomy. He studied human anatomy with 30 human corpses. He wanted to know how the human body works. Leonardo made the Vitruvian Man. It's a man standing like this, and it shows how a man, if his hands are straight in length, you compare that, it actually is the size of your whole body. Pretty impressive for me too. It isn't entirely true. It is entirely true, actually. Death. The King of France, who collected his artwork, invited him to stay with him for as long as he wanted. Leonardo da Vinci had a very luxurious end of his life. His health was failing, but he and the king spent time talking about art, science, and a lot of other stuff, etc., etc. Leo spent the last 3 years of his life organizing papers. Leonardo da Vinci died on May 2nd, 1519, in the king's lap. Contribution to the Renaissance. Leonardo was a great man in Renaissance. He was a jack of all trades, the symbol of the Renaissance, and he was a man who demonstrated a large variety of subjects. The King of France once said, "There is no other man greater than Leonardo da Vinci." Leonardo once said, "I've wasted my hours." Leonardo was an inventor, artist, architect, scientist, botanist, student of human anatomy, and most importantly, he was a Renaissance man. Cool facts. Leonardo did mirror writing, which meant he read it backwards. And if you were to read it, you would need a mirror unless you somehow could read backwards. There were only 25 notebooks to be found, and with 7,000 pages. And so many of his paintings were stolen because they're probably pretty good. Challenges. He was born out of wedlock, which was a disgrace back then, at the time. He did not go to school and college, which made him learn Latin. He had to learn Latin by himself. He had ADHD, which made him not finish projects on time. Timeline. He was born on April 15th, 1452 in Italy out of wedlock. And in 1466, he was an apprentice in Andrea Verriocchi's workshop. The first painting. Leo was the first painting was the Adoration of Magi. The Last Supper was completed in 1498. The Mona Lisa, he was commissioned to paint the Mona Lisa in 1503, and he died in 1519, May 2nd, 1519, when invited to France. Research books. The Science and Technology of Leonardo da Vinci by Isabel Pagel Hogan. What your fifth grader needs to know. Leonardo da Vinci by Mary Pope Osborne. Pictures from Google. Thank you guys. Bye.